And welcome to the INSTANTCAST. This is for the Bucks versus Panthers Monday Night Football game on October 10th, 2016. I'm Brent Allen, your host. Bucks win, Bucks win, Bucks win. Well, what about it, Bucks fans? What'd you think of the game tonight? Man, I was on the edge of my seat all night long. I couldn't just kick back in the couch and hang out and, have a couple drinks and, maybe munch on some munchies or, play on my phone. And I mean, trust me, I was on my phone. I was tweeting with y'all almost through the whole game and taking my notes, but I couldn't do that. I actually had to sit back and watch not sit back. I was on the edge of my seat. I was standing in the middle of my living room. I was inches away from my TV watching tonight's game. I was that tuned in. And you know what that says? I think that goes to say a lot, that the Bucks kept us in this game. How many times have we gotten into a game and by the time you get to the middle of the third quarter, we're just so far out of it, you're just like, yeah, whatever, okay. I can just sit back. It doesn't you kind of check in on the game, or if you're a glutton for punishment like me, you're still watching the game pretty intently, but you're not on the edge of your seat. Tonight, I was on the edge of my seat, as were you, literally until the last 3 seconds of the game, I think it was. Was that about it? Maybe 3 seconds of the game? Yeah, I don't know. So, hey, listen, if you, I don't know how many of you got a chance. I put out a small little bonus content episode not right before the game. It was 5 hours before the game started, where I was kind of responding to some of the things that I keep seeing on Twitter and I've seen on Facebook, and I've heard some of the other podcasts talk about a little bit about the importance of this game. And Justin Pulowski over at Bucks Uncensored, which, by the way, since he has come off of the whatever that used to be called and now it's been on Bucks Uncensored, there's been a change in that podcast that I am loving what they're saying. But he was talking about how this is a season-defining game for the Bucks, and I kind of disagree with him sort of on that. And what I said is, I don't know that this is a season-defining game as much as this has the potential to be a season-defining game if they win, because look at who we're playing tonight. Mostly second and third string guys who are out, or because our starters are out. It was mostly those second and third string guys. Now, granted, we are going against another team that has a lot of injuries. They're in a down year, but these are the guys that we're playing, and the season defining moment can be: are these guys going to be guys who step up? If they take this opportunity to step up right now, then this could be a season defining game if they keep that momentum going. Guys, here's the deal. We're not going to know if this was a season-defining game until later on in the season. But this one certainly starts it out on the right step. Now, if we went out and we just blew this game, this would not be a season-defining game. This also would not have been a game that spelled the end of our season either. It wasn't that important. It's not at that part of our season yet. However, winning this game did nothing but help us. It helped our confidence. It helped our motivation. It helped certainly our chances. It solidified us. It solidifies us very solidly in that number 2 spot in the NFC South, in that division. Now, listen, a lot of people are worrying about the Falcons. Oh, the Falcons are looking so good. The Falcons look so good. Guys, remember, listen, last year the Falcons went, 5-0 to start the season? And then look what happened to them, okay? I'm not worried about the Falcons right now. I'm not worried about them at all. We can still catch them with plenty of football left. Plenty. In fact, the two commentators, I don't know who was with John Gruden tonight, but the other guy, he was kind of trying to make that point, and John Gruden just kind of went, yeah, there's a lot of football left in the season, okay? They're looking good, pretty good right now, but there's a lot of football left in the season. You can't really just jump on that. So, but guys, I thought that was this has all the potential to be a season-defining game if they allow it to happen. We just came up big. I'll tell you this. Here's the big thought that I have on this. The Bucks have to learn how to finish. And that is, I think, the theme that is going to come out of this game for me. Is the Bucks have to learn how to finish. I'm kind of looking through my notes that I took during the game, and that's what I said, is they just didn't finish in key places where they needed to finish. Now, by that, I mean they need to finish drives. Okay, tonight they finished a game, but throughout this game, they really had a hard time finishing drives. And to that, when we look at the first couple of offensive possessions that we had of the ball, I mean, that first possession took almost 2/3 of the entire first quarter. That very first possession we had, and we got a field goal out of it. That's it didn't come up with 7 points on the board. It came up with a field goal. That's what I mean when I say we have a hard time finishing, and we have to learn how to finish. Now, I'll say this. Tonight, the team dug deep when it counted, and they came out a winner. However, I don't know how many of you guys played sports. I assume a lot of you guys did. I certainly did too. And there was always a concept of there's times when you go out as a team and you just win a game. You solidly win the game. You were the better team. Then there's other games where no one really wins or loses the game. It's just one team happens to be up when the clock runs out. Because you're such an evenly matched team, nobody really beat the other team. Nobody really trounced them. Nobody just laid the smack down. It was an evenly fought game. It went back and forth, and when the clock expired, this one team happened to be up, and that's what happened with us tonight. Nobody really won this game. Nobody really lost this game. It's just the Bucs were ahead when the clock ran out, and this was an evenly matched game. Now, that said, when it all counts, when it all gets put up on the scoreboard, this is going to go down as a win. This one's going to go down as a win, just like that first week's going to go down as a win, and nobody's going to know or care that this was such a close game. Nobody's going to know or care that nobody won this game, that the clock just ran out. But I want us to know that we didn't really win this game. Okay, this was a game where the Bucs were just ahead when the clock ran out, and thank God they were. Okay, don't get me wrong. Thank God they were. And I'm celebrating. I am on cloud freaking 9 right now. So we have that. And then I have one other opening thought before I get into kind of breaking down different things. I'm still with 19. Hashtag I'm with 19. I'm still with 19. Do I think that they need to bring in another kicker and put some competition in front of Roberto Aguayo? No, I don't. Do I think they will? No, I don't. Are they just going to stick with 19? Yes, they are. Yes, they are. We just need to stick with him, guys. This is just his rookie year, okay? I know he was a second-round kicker. Oh, my God, the announcers remind us of it every single time he's on the Flargan field. I get it. He's a second-round kicker. He's the most accurate kicker in the history of college football. This is not college football anymore, though, guys. This is the NFL. He's still correcting. He's still learning. He's doing this for the very first time as a professional. And you know what? When the game was on the line, he came up with a win. He came up with a kick. Put it in between the goalposts. Now I'll say this. He missed 2 field goals tonight, and they were big field goals. They were big field goals that he missed. He shouldn't have been put in that position that often, though. And that's what I mean when I talk about finishing drives. We didn't finish drives, and so instead of actually having all of these field goals, because you guys go back, you do the math, Roberto Aguayo came up with 10 points on tonight's game? Was that right? He had 10 of our points tonight on the game out of the 17? Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, no, 11. He would have had 11 of the points that we put up on the board tonight. Wait, is that right? Is the math on that right? No. He had 9. Because we went for the extra 2 points. Sorry, trying to do that. He had 9 of our 17 points. He had over 50% of our points tonight. And see, this goes back to what I'm saying when we kicked him. Kickers put points on the board. That's why we wanted to draft a good kicker so that we could have this. And part of having a good kicker means he has to develop. Let me get off that. Hashtag I'm with 19. Yes, I'm still with 19. I'm going to ride him out, and we're going to ride the roller coaster. Has this brought his confidence back? Is he going to be solid from here on out? Probably not, guys. Probably not. It's still his rookie year. He's still learning. He's still getting those things worked out. I think you give him till his second year, maybe his third year, when that consistency and that amazing just he almost never misses thing really kicks in, and he's solid for the next 10 to 15 years. Solid for the next 10 to 15 years. All right, so let's break it down. Let's take a look at it. Let's go over to offense, and we always start where we always start on offense, which is with Jameis. Hey, by the way, if you guys are, I'm doing something new for this particular instant cast, is over on facebook.com/thepewtercast. I'm actually broadcasting this live. And I've got a handful of people here that are watching live, so I want to shout out to everybody who's over there. I see David Mays, Aaron Rutherford, Josh Hensley, Walter Pankey, a couple others, maybe some people who haven't said hi yet, and these guys are leaving some fun comments. So I want to thank you guys for jumping in. David Mays says he listened to me talk about Jacquiz, and that quick post got me fired up. Come on, Jacquiz. Yeah, we're going to talk about him here in just a minute. Okay, so anyway, just want to let you guys know that they're there. So if I seem distracted or if I kind of make the statement just out of the blue, that's what we're talking about. I don't know how often we'll do this. We might try doing this, but for right now, this is where we are. All right, Jameis. Let's talk about Jameis. Here's my first thought on Jameis. Jameis was not perfect. But Jameis did what we needed Jameis to do, which was he led the team. That's what we needed Jameis to do. And that's when he came out and did it. And you know what? There were several times when I saw Jameis put the team on his back and he carried the team. Something opened up and he took off for a run. And he protected himself by sliding. You know what he did tonight? He protected the football. There was one pass. There was one pass in this entire game where I went, I don't know that he should have made that pass. Meaning, like, somebody's about to pick that one off. There was one pass where I saw that. He protected the football fairly well tonight. I think he took, one, maybe 2 sacks? Is that about right? 2 sacks, I think it was, on the game. He protected the football. We had multiple runs out of him tonight. He led his team. And in a team where people are down, because remember, we went into this game without our number 1 or our number 2 running back. You know, normally we only dress 3 guys in running back, and the top 2 guys are gone. They're gone. And the guy that we've had in as our number 3 running back, he's brand new to the team this year. And then we brought in, one of our guys went out. We promoted number 2 to number 1. We kept our new guy at number 3, and we brought in a brand new guy and just put him in at number 2. We're talking about Jacquiz right now. Well, the new number 1 goes out, so Jacquiz gets promoted to number 1. The guy who's been in number 3 gets promoted to number 2, and then we bring up a guy from freaking practice squad to fill in that number 3 spot. I mean, oh my gosh, this running back core is all jacked up. And you know what? Jameis led those guys. Make no mistake, Jameis led those guys. They couldn't have done what they needed to do without Jameis doing what he had to do. And that said, Jameis wasn't perfect. He had a couple of missed throws. He overthrew some people. He put the ball on the wrong shoulder a couple of times that allowed something to be defended. So he wasn't perfect, but he did what he needed to do. That's what I loved about Jameis tonight. And if I had to grade Jameis, and I don't tend to grade individual players, but if I had to grade Jameis tonight, B+, I think is what I'd give him. A B+. All right, let's talk about our running game. This is what I've been saying about Jacquiz Rodgers. I have been telling you guys, if you are in fantasy football, go pick up Jacquiz Rodgers because you can get him for free. Probably not after today. Because he did what he did on the big stage where everybody saw him. Probably ain't getting him for free now. Before now, and if you can't, go put in a waiver claim on the guy right now. Go pick him up right now. Right now. You know what I want to do? I have Jacquiz Rodgers. Oh, sorry, Facebook guys. I have Jacquiz Rodgers on my team, on my fantasy team, and I want to look him up just because I want to see what he wound up with in points tonight. And I played him. Tonight. I hedged my bets. I've been saying don't play him, just kind of wait and see what happens. But with injuries being what they were, I went ahead and played him. Let's see here. Get out of here. Let's go to fantasy. Fantasy home. Where did I have him? I think I had him here. So, Jacquiz Rodgers. Yeah, this guy. Man, Jacquiz Rodgers. Play him. That's what I've been saying. Jacquizz Rodgers runs like Doug Martin. You guys know that? David Mays puts in here, Jacquizz Rodgers had 30 carries, 5 catches tonight. Happened once in the entire NFL last year, and that was Devontae Freeman against the Cowboys. Fun fact, I didn't know that. I know this. I know Jacquizz Rodgers got 62 yards, I think, in the first half. Let's see if I can figure out what he got tonight. Let's see here. Quiz Rodgers. Here we go. Jacquizz Rodgers came up with 101 yards on 30. Yeah, 30 carries. And got 12 points. You know, that's not bad for an RB2 or a flex player if that's where you're going to plug him in. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. And I'd say he was more clutch than what a simple fantasy score gives us. Jacquizz Rodgers. Yeah, I thought Peyton Barber, we saw him on probably 3, 4, 5 plays. I thought he was serviceable. You know, he let Jacquizz get a water break. Tell you what Jacquizz showed us, he's a 3-down back. He's a 3-down back. We don't need a 1-2. I don't want to say that. I'm not discounting Doug Martin and Charles Sims. Those guys are fantastic. Jacquizz Rodgers is the second Bucs player ever with 30-plus carries, 5-plus receptions in the same game. James Wilder did it 4 times from 83 to 84. Well, there you go. There you go. Jacquizz, love him. I liked him. Feature him. That's what I've been saying for a couple weeks now is put Jacquizz in as the feature spot. Leave Charles Sims back in Charles Sims' spot. Well, Charles Sims is on IR now, so we can't do that. So, hey, listen, what happens if we get Doug Martin and Jacquizz? Ooh, that could look nasty. That'd be fun. That'd be fun. Barber was serviceable. He didn't really impress me a whole lot. He didn't kill it for me. Okay, he held down what he needed to hold down while Jacquizz was getting some water is essentially, I think, what happened. You know what I love tonight? The first 6 plays were all to Jacquizz Rodgers. First 6. Hey, you remember? I think we did that last year once with Doug Martin, didn't we? I forget which game it was in, but the first it was just Doug Martin. The first 6, 7 plays. The first 6 plays tonight were all to Jacquizz. And here's what I'll tell you. You know what happened tonight was the Bucs made a statement tonight. And then the statement we were making is we were coming out and we kept running Jacquizz. Even if our number 1 and number 2 running backs are out, we're still going to run this ball, despite what we've not done in the first 4 games. They were making a statement with Jacquizz Rodgers tonight, running him as much as they did, giving him the ball as much as they did. Making a statement. It was a statement-making night for the running game for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense. Potentially a season-defining game for the running game. All right, how about passing? Guys, Mike Evans was money. There was one pass that he had hit him in the hands, and he didn't drop it. He just didn't catch it. Hit him right in the hands and bounced out. Other than that, Mike Evans was money. He was calm. He was cool. He was collected. Mike Evans is money. Cameron Brate did not have as much of an impact on this game as I thought he would. But you know what? He came up with a couple big plays, and I'll take them. I mean, they were just solid, in the gut kind of passes. Got us first downs when we need them. Alan Cross came in, had a few good plays. Adam Humphries had some big plays. I loved seeing that. There wasn't a whole lot of. This was a game that was so balanced on the run pass like mixture that it's hard to knock the passing game because it worked. When it happened, it worked. And granted, we're going against arguably not a great secondary, not a great defense in the NFL this year, which is sad for me because I have the Bucs and the Panthers both as my defense in some of my fantasy leagues. Mike Evans was money tonight, guys. Mike Evans was money. You know who I want to talk about tonight? You want to know who I saw that showed up tonight and we kind of saw a return to form? Vincent freaking Jackson. Is he finally getting his mojo going? Is that what's going on? Man, he was catching some good balls tonight. Loved seeing that. Loved seeing Vincent Jackson show up. That's what we need from Vincent Jackson every single week. Offensive line, I'm going to say for the offensive line what I said for Jameis Winston. They did not have a perfect game, but they were still pretty damn good. Not a perfect game. Still pretty damn good. I think they might be the only fully healthy and fully functioning unit on our team. Maybe the wide receivers. And before tonight, I would say they're not fully functioning. Wide receivers, I thought, did great. But the offensive line, pretty good. Couple of stupid penalties. You got to hate those penalties. There was one I want to talk about, though, with Dotson. Dotson got a holding call protecting Jameis. And here's what would have happened. And guys, I used to play offensive line, and I can tell you this. There are times when you're on the offensive line, you have a split second to make a decision. Either I'm about to take a penalty or I'm going to lose this guy and he's going to sack my quarterback. So we're either going to take the yards on a penalty or we're going to take the yards on a sack and my guy's going to get hit. And so you take the penalty. And I think that's what happened in that particular play with with DeMar Dotson. Was not that he just got, it's not that he got beat. It's not that he got swam over. None of that. It just, the play unfolded like it did. And he chose the penalty over letting his quarterback get sacked. He chose the penalty over letting his quarterback take a hit. And I think that was a good call. Good call on his part. And I'm going to choose to believe that that's what happened in that particular time. And then, Joe Hawley went down. Woo, scare me. Scare me. Not the beard. No. So, and then he went out with the refs made him go out because they thought he had a concussion or something. I think might have been what it was. It's the only reason I can think that they would pull a player off the field is if they see something. But Joe Hawley and you know what? Evan Smith stepped in and did what he had to do. Good on Evan Smith. Good on Evan Smith, guy. Man, I tell you what, I like this team with Evan Smith on it. I like him in at that backup spot because of what we saw tonight. I really do. I like the fact that he can swing through those middle three guys however we need him to be. So, guys, overall thoughts on the offense. I thought they did great. They had some beautiful drives, but they didn't finish them. And that's what this offense still needs to work on. Okay, if I had to give them a critique, that's my critique, is they didn't finish the drives. Okay, because, guys, going into the half, we should have been 17-0, if not 21-0. That should have been the score going into the half. But because we didn't finish those first two drives, we settled for a couple of field goals, and then we missed a field goal. We were 6-0. All right? So we've got to learn to finish. That's my opening thought on my overall thought on the offense. But I loved what they did. I mean, they had some beautiful plays, and I don't want to take that away from them. All right, defense. Let's move over to defense. Okay, here we are playing without most of our starters, particularly on the defensive line, and I thought the defense played admirably tonight. Again, not perfect. They were not perfect. They were still good. Greg Olsen was undefended way too many times. Now, in the defense's defense, there's a reason he may be the best tight end in the league. But still, my God, dude, every time I looked up, he probably had a 3, 4, 5 foot radius around him where there were no Buccaneers around him. John Hughes, new defensive lineman, signed him earlier this week, stepped in huge, took an injury, and came back. Now, guys, that's heart. That's the will to win. I don't know this guy. I think he came from the Bears. I want to say maybe that's where he got released from. Possibly. I'm not really sure. But, man, that's a big dude. That's a big dude. That could be a good pickup for us. The defense forced 3 turnovers. That's a good day on defense. You want to know how we could have made it better if the defense would have scored? Oh, that would have been awesome. Yeah, I would have liked to see that. That's the best way to make that happen. Good day on defense. Chris Conti, I thought Conti showed up a few times. That was fun. Still worried about our safety gear, but hey, what we saw out of Conti tonight is the stuff that we like. right? It's the stuff that the coaches see in practice. I don't know what that shit is that we've seen the last 3 games out of Chris Conte. Tonight is what I like to see. I'll tell you who I'm most impressed with back there, though, is with Tandy and McDougald. McDougald felt like he was all over the place. Felt like he was in some of those. And then Tandy came up with a huge stop. Huge stop. Now, I know one play does not make an entire career, but I loved it. And the manly guttural roar that Tandy came out of after that tackle was just awesome. Awesome. Hargraves. Vernon Hargraves was tested tonight. We talked about this. I talked about this just a few minutes ago, some of the guys in the chat room here. Hargraves was tested all night. They threw to his side of the field all night long. Now, he was matched up against Kelvin Benjamin. I guess that was the game plan. They're just going to put Hargraves on Kelvin Benjamin all night. And Hargraves just floated with him. And I thought Hargraves passed his test. I thought he did really well. Again, he wasn't perfect. Okay, there were times when Kelvin Benjamin caught the ball. Wasn't perfect, but I thought he did really well. Thought he did really, really, really well. Brent Grimes, let me tell you about Brent Grimes. Brent Grimes is off my shit list. Yep, he is officially off the shit list. You know why? Because he got his first interception. And let me tell you what, Brent Grimes came up with that interception in the end zone. That is huge. The number of times we've seen him miss an interception in the end zone, the number of times we've seen him slip and fall and lose his footing in the end zone. Tonight, he came up with an interception in the end zone, and that saved us the game. Because I tell you what, the Panthers were knocking on that door pretty hard. Because it wasn't like they were backed up to the 15 or 20 yard line and they tossed the ball in and he came up with the interception. No. Like the Panthers were like within a couple of yards. Okay, they were pretty dang close. I think they might have been within the 5. Brent Grimes comes up with an interception. I've been saying that. I'm not going to be happy with him until he actually gets an interception. He got it tonight. Brent Grimes is off the shit list. Miko, honey, go cash your check because we know that that's what you love. We know that that's your thing. Brent Grimes proved why we brought him into this team. Now, Brent to Brent, keep going with that, man. Do that again. All right. If you do that once per game, you're never gonna be fired. Just keep doing it, man. Just keep doing it. Let me say this about the defense. By the start of the fourth quarter, I think we could all tell one thing about the defense. They were getting tired. You know, with as many injuries as we have, there were not many substitutions. And these guys were working. They were putting in work. But you know what? These guys, they knew that they couldn't just lean on the starters. They knew that they had to be the ones to dig deep and to step up, and they found it. They found it. So overall on defense, here's what I'll say. Mike Smith does not need to be fired. And if you were one of the ones that's out there going, oh, I can't believe Mike Smith. Let's fire Mike Smith. I hate Mike Smith. Mike Smith can't do anything. He doesn't know how to call plays. Shut up. He is putting together a fine defense. And listen, most of that defense is banged up. Okay, he is in his very first year. He's still trying to install ideas in these. He's trying to get out the muck from several years in these guys. Okay, let him ride out his contract. Let him ride out his deal if he's still here, because Mike Smith may get picked up to be a head coach this next year. If he wants it. I don't even know that he wants it. He might. I don't know why he wouldn't. But I think he's putting together a fine defense. And if you wait for 2-3 years down the line, if he's still here and he's had a couple of drafts and he's had a couple of free agency periods to tune up the defense and keep the guys in the same scheme, this defense will be potent. Potent. We aren't there yet. But we finally have a coaching staff that and a general manager that can work in tandem and work together to create something that is years down the line. And my God, Glazers, if you go in and you fire these guys within 2 years of their contract, let them ride out. Oh my God, can we as a community take ownership of a team and take it away from the people who currently own it? Just out of curiosity, not what I'm here for tonight. Okay. So, guys, that's my overall thought on defense. I think Mike Smith is putting together a very fine defense, and it was tested tonight in a big, big way because we lost. We were so depleted on people. Aaron in the chat room says that Smith said 4 weeks, and this was the 5th week, and it was the best D that they played all year. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? In week 6, they should be getting better. Okay, wait, week 6, I know they're in the bye week, but they're 6th game. They should be getting better. The D tonight was mostly backups. That's exactly what I'm saying, David, in the chat room. Exactly what I'm saying. Now, if this is what's coming out of the backups, imagine if all of our starters were still healthy. I know you guys are all thinking the same thing. Every single one of you guys is thinking the same thing that I am. I've just got the microphone, so I'm saying it. Special teams. Can I give these guys a standing O tonight? I want to standing O. Standing ovation. Fumble recovery because Russell friggin' Shepard fought for it. It was not his recovery. It was not his ball, but he made it his. He was 6 feet away from that ball when the Panthers guy was like 1 foot away. And Shepard flew in and got in between that Panther and that ball and made it his. Fumble recovery, awesome. And I tweeted out, I was like, that's what we need in this game. That's what a culture of winning is when captains are stepping up and making things happen. And that's what Russell Shepard did tonight with that fumble recovery when they muffed a punt. Brian Anger was solid. Brian Anger is proving once again, listen, all respect to Jacob Schum. All respect to those guys. But Brian Anger is solid. Put the ball exactly where we needed it to be. There were no stupid penalties on special teams. Adam Humphries had a couple of good returns. Roberto Aguayo. Some of you guys are pumping the brakes there, right? Roberto Aguayo. I've already said he never should have had to kick that much. Yeah, he missed 2 field goals. That's not good. But I'm still with 19. Aaron, you asked me on Twitter in the middle of the game if I'm still with 19, and my answer was what? Hell yeah, I'm still with 19. Hell yeah, I'm still with 19. You know, I tried to pull the clip, but I don't pull clips for InstantCast. Maybe if we can work it in the main show, we'll do it. But you guys hear Gruden talking about his drafting with Janikowski? Did he draft him in the first round? I think that's what I heard Gruden say, was he drafted Janikowski in the first round. He took a lot of heat for it, and he said he wanted to wring Janikowski's neck so many times in that rookie year. Because he was just up and down, up and down, up and down, and that's what it was like. So, guys, here's what I'm going to tell you about Roberto Aguayo. Are all his woes behind him at this point? No, probably not. Probably not. I hope they are. That'd be cool if they are, but they're probably not. So, guys, here's what I'll say. Settle in. Just settle into Aguayo. We're not going to bring in, and we shouldn't bring in other people to compete with him and to bring in extra guys. Okay, we settle in. Let's get pissed off when he misses, because we should. Okay? Just get pissed off when he misses and stay behind him. Get pissed off, but stay behind him. Still with 19. Hashtag I'm with 19. Guys, remember, this was his 5th game ever. His 5th professional game ever. Preseason games don't count. He's going to get there. He's going to get there. All right, we're at 33 minutes on this this instant cast. Time for some closing thoughts. And I'll say this. I said this in the preseason. An ugly win is a whole lot better than a pretty loss. Can I get an amen? An ugly win is a whole lot better than a pretty loss. What the Bucs have to learn going forward is how to finish. They've got to learn how to finish those drives. They've got to learn how to get those points on the board, because this game, this game was far too close, and it never should have been this close in a score wise. The Bucs offense played too well to have it be this close. This is a potentially season-defining game for us. Potentially season-defining game. We'll have to wait and see. We'll if this game has done what it's done, if this game galvanizes this team, we should see the ripple effects going forward. Okay, and you can't track that until you get several games down the line. Really, till you get to the end of the season. But you get to the end of the season, if let's say this season is complete turnaround and we have just an amazing record from here on out, you could point back to this game and say this was the game where everything turned around. So let me float one idea. David Mays talking about Gruden, talking about Janikowski, that he wanted him gone. Yeah. It was his first pick out in Oakland when Gruden was coaching in Oakland. And Gruden wanted him gone. Didn't want him there anymore. Tried to get rid of him. Because that's how bad he drove him up a wall. And Gruden, he was telling the story of how he actually put him out there in this impossible situation, kick a 54-yard field goal. Wanted him to miss so that he could fire him the next day. Wanted him to miss, but he didn't. And so then they came over and Gruden wound up giving him a big hug. And I think his next words were, and the rest was history. And Janikowski is one of the best, if not the best kickers in the history of the NFL. Aguayo can get there. Aguayo could be the GOAT, guys. Think about that. Casey, you said something earlier today about Jameis being the GOAT. Aguayo could be the GOAT for kickers if we stay the course. Hashtag I'm with 19. All right, let me float an idea. Let me float a weird idea. We go into the bye, the starters come back, they're all healthy. What if we stayed with a lot of the guys that we saw tonight? These guys worked. You talk about a culture of winning. These guys wanted it. These guys went out there and worked for it. I'll take guys like this. I'll take second and third string guys that want it, that have it in their heart, that have it deep down, that can get out and pull out, even if it's an ugly win, that they can do what they have to do to make it happen. I'll take those guys over the starters any day. Yes, that includes Gerald McCoy. Yes, that includes Doug Martin. Yes, that includes Robert Ayers. Yes, that includes Luke Stalker. What if we stick with these guys? Now, those starters come back and they have that same thing in their heart. They have that same want to, that same will to make it happen. This could be, guys, this, we were saying it all throughout the preseason. Coach Cutter was saying it all throughout the preseason. This game, or this team, a lot of people don't think that this team is as good as they really are. And I would say that we've barely scratched the surface of who this Buccaneers team is. I think they're still finding it out in a lot of ways on their own. Aaron says, yeah, this bye couldn't have come in the more perfect time. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. This bye, the great football gods that schedule this just went, the Bucs are going to need it here. This is a good spot for the Bucs right here. Because we got some people to get healthy. But I'll tell you, if they come back and these other guys are still working, if I don't care if you're a starter. I don't care you shouldn't lose your job because of an injury. So when you get healthy, you should come back. I don't buy into all that crap. Listen, there's a reason that when DeMar Dotson got hurt last year, Godster Sheriff stepped in and the offensive line was doing as well as it was and was cohesive as well as it was, that DeMar Dotson did not get his starting job back. There's a reason for that, because it was working. What we were doing was working. Jaquiz is working. Oh my gosh, is he working? All right, Bucs fans, well, here it is. We're 1-0 on the second quarter. Let's have a great bye week. Let's get healthy. Let's get some people back, and let's make it 2-0. Hey, be on the lookout for our main episode coming out later this week. We're going to push it back just a little bit on our normal release schedule. Should be out sometime late on Wednesday, possibly Thursday. Somewhere, it just depends on how recording goes and how late that goes and what we need to do to get that ready, to get that edited and put out. Got a very fun guest this week. You guys are going to love him. Well, yeah, I'm going to wait because you never know. Schedules might change. But very fun guest planned for this week. You guys also know that on Thursdays at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, you can come right back here to Facebook Live, facebook.com/thepewtercast. We'll talk about Tampa Bay Buccaneers and fantasy football. Don't do it this week because the Bucs are on a bye next week. So maybe we'll talk about other players. Maybe we'll just do something and see if anybody has any questions. So if you got any fantasy football questions, be sure to send them my way to thepewtercast@gmail.com or find me on Twitter @thepewtercast or on facebook.com/thepewtercast. That's how you get over there. I'd love to know your thoughts on the game. Please send them to me. Email them in, tweet me, Facebook, comment, message me. I'd like to thank everybody who was in the chat room tonight, who contributed to the conversation tonight. Who was the player that got his first career catch tonight? First career catch? Alan Cross. It was Alan Cross is who it was. I'd like to thank everybody who's been in the chat room over here tonight. Thank you guys for listening. If you'd like to support the show, paypal.me/thepewtercast, or go to iTunes and leave a review. Well, guys, until the next show, until next time, go Bucks.